Have you ever felt like you needed more help around the house or with the kids and you felt too uncomfortable to ask? Whether it was with your husband or family or even with your grown kids. And when you finally do ask, they do a half-assed job that's never good enough. So you end up just having to redo it over again and then never ask for help again. And the duties just keep piling on. Does this sound familiar, or am I the only control freak? Today, we're sharing the times in our lives when we struggled to ask for help, how we felt all the feelings from ungrateful to resentful, and how we learned to communicate our needs now. So hopefully we can help you lighten your load a bit. Welcome to Mamas and Mimosas. I'm Janelle.
I'm Marianne.
And I'm Roni.
Let's grab our mimosas, pop in those earphones if you have little ones around, and let's dive right in. Cheers!
Oh my god, it's gonna get deep, guys.
A shit show, a pure shit show. It literally takes a village.
I don't know if it was dirty or clean.
Oh my god.
Bad mom.
Like
yeah.
the movie.
Yes, because I'm shining. Woo! That was good, guys.
All right, ladies. So how was your week? Anything exciting happen?
I'll go first. I don't know if it's about like the week, but the boys are finally starting to play together.
Oh, that's good. Cheers.
That's awesome.
Me and my husband like looked at each other and we're like, dude, it's nice that they're playing together. It didn't last very long, but like every day there's a part of the day where they're like, I mean, Landon's doing his own thing, but Levi's like copying him and Landon will include him. So I'm like,
Take it. Take it.
Doesn't
You get what you get and you don't throw a fit.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make your heart literally just burst? Like you're just like, it makes it all the bad times worth it, right?
Oh,
Yeah. I love when that happens.
How cute. I'm all for it.
So we're excited about that.
What are they doing together? Are they like playing cars together?
They're
or
playing
dinosaurs?
cars. They're building a train track. Landon fills his like this huge Ryan mystery egg and he fills it up with toys and he's like, Levi, come pick a surprise. And I'm like, oh, how cool.
Oh, so he's getting used to him and he's like opening up now.
Oh, maybe because like COVID has forced them to
He's like, that's the only friend I got right now.
It worked. Yeah. No,
Thank you,
good.
COVID.
Yep.
Thank you, COVID.
I know, right?
Oh my god. But you know what? Now that you said that, I feel like my boys have been playing more together, but I feel like you said, they don't have a choice. It's not like their friends can come over. So they've definitely been playing
Not
better
fighting
together.
as much.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. But I don't want to take away your thunder. That's big. That's big.
Like I always was like, when are they gonna be like Jack and Max? Like I want them to be BFFs already.
Well, trust me, they're not. They're gonna fight still. Like today we have their cousin over today, and they were playing all video games, and my oldest killed my youngest in the video game. So the younger one got so pissed off, and he started. He shut off the TV. He shut off the game, and then he said something that was an embarrassing story to the cousin to embarrass my oldest one. Yeah. So, and I'm like, oh my God. And you didn't beat him up. Like, I feel like if I would have done that to my older brothers, they would have definitely like sat on me and farted up. Like, you know what I mean? Like made me pay for that.
But Jack seems like he has a lot of patience with Max.
He does. He came to me. Jack actually came to me. He's like, Mom, Max did this. And then I was like, hey, come out here. You can't play with them anymore. So that was that. But I even had to put him on timeout. So that's my new thing of the week. Okay, so I read this book called Raising Lions, and I'll link it below, but it has changed my whole disciplining style. Remember, I would tell you that I would get all upset and frustrated, and if my daughter would talk back to me, I would flicker in the mouth. Oh my God. Okay, so that was in that one disciplining episode. Well, since then,
flicking.
I read this book, and I swear it comes with like YouTube tutorials too, and it has completely changed the way that I am with my kids as far as like disciplining. Like I feel like it's very no nonsense, and you're basically taking your power by like giving them timeout over and over. But it's not a timeout, and it's not long. It's like a break. So they call it a break, and it's only for a minute, but it's constant and it's immediate. So basically, like my daughter, if she talks back to me, I don't need to get all frustrated. So it says, don't lose your cool. Just say, oh, okay, we're going to go on a break. So like sit here, go on your break. I'll put the timer on for 1 minute, and then afterwards you can go. So she'll cry, and then I'll tell her, okay, let me know when you're done crying so that I can start your timer. So you don't start the timer until they're done crying and they're calm.
But do you let them know that they're in trouble or no?
Yeah, well, they learn that break is basically a timeout,
so instead of saying timeout, you're saying break.
But instead of saying timeout, I'm saying break. And instead of me like being really upset from it, like sit down, you're on break, and like losing my cool, which I've done millions of times, this is like making them think about what they did, and not changing like your mood, like not making them afraid of you. It's more like showing them the consequence, like, hey, you have
I don't have time for this.
And yeah, like you deal with it, and I'm not mad at you, and I love you, and this doesn't change me like loving you as a parent. I'm still happy with you. You just go and you just do your consequence, and then you come back, So it's funny because sometimes I'll tell her, say she didn't want to eat her food, and I'm like, okay, so let's go and sit and take a break. And then when you're done with your break, you're going to come and finish your food. And then when I go and get her from the break, I'm like, are you ready to go? And she'll say no, because she doesn't want to eat her food. And so then I'm like, okay, so then you can continue your break until you're ready to come and eat your food. So sometimes she like opts in for like another round of a break. And then she'll say, okay, I'm done. And then I'll tell either like if her time's up or whatever. And it's always 1 minute. And then I'll tell her, okay, so come and eat your food. And so she'll have to eat her food. And so it's like less fighting and less negotiating with them, but it's more constant. Like it's literally for every back talk, for every,
you're more consistent with it.
Tantrum. It's so, you got to be consistent, and it kind of helped out because I'm also babysitting my niece who's the same age as my daughter. So they've been fighting so much. Like in the beginning, they were fighting over everything, huh?
They have been fighting a lot?
Yeah, like I'm the princess. No, for
what?
nothing, they're fighting. Yeah, I'm the princess. No, I'm the singer. And I'm like, since when do you guys care about this stuff? But the second that they start raising their voices, like the first one to raise their voice, I'm like, okay, let's go take a break, and it's funny because they would scream at first and they would be so upset, and now they've gotten used to it and they realize, okay, after the break. And they've changed their personalities. Like they've totally changed the way that they fight with each other. It's way less now. And I feel like their tantrums sitting on the break is way shorter. Like they know, okay, it's a short break.
They're getting used to the
routine. They've gotten used to it. And I see them actually get defeated too. Cause like I'm telling you, every little thing, like if they're like, no, cause sometimes she'll yell like, no, never. And I'm like, okay, we're going to go take a break.
Your niece or your daughter?
No comment. But sometimes, both of them now, I feel like both of them will say like, no, never or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to go take a break and then you're going to do it. You're still going to do it, but we're going to take a break. And they look like, like they're so defeated and annoyed. It's like you annoy them with the breaks so that they stop doing that.
And where do you do the break? Like in a separate room, in the corner?
No, so I just put them in the corner. Like, so we have a step, when we walk in the door, we have that step, and I just put them right there so I could see them and they can't see the TV. And it's literally for a minute. It's only a minute long that I just put these breaks on. But it's funny because it even has videos that show you how to do it with teenagers. Like I would never think of putting my teenager on the freaking break. But the second my boys start trying to manipulate me and like, when they ask you a question and you tell them no, and they're like, but come on. And then if they like, Yeah, well, they say like you pause and you don't even argue with them. Like you don't even need to, like they know why. You know, like they already know that your word is final and that's it. And if they keep going at it, then you can go, okay, you want to go on a break? And then they're old enough to obviously know that they don't want to go on a break, so they could stop. But like if I see like the little one kind of messing with the older one, then I'll be like, okay, you can go take a break. And then they feel so like, obviously they're embarrassed because they're like, I don't want to be on timeout, but they do it. And it saves me from having to yell. I don't know. You guys have to read.
Isn't it funny how timeout works? Like, they
Yes.
just go sit there, but like they easily could stand up.
Right.
But they do it.
They do it and they're grown. And I would never think about putting the older ones on timeout because I thought they're too old for this, but it really works. I'm telling you.
Well, make sure you send us the link and put that. Do they say what you do when it's your husband? Do they have one for that? Or no? They don't get into that?
That's
damn.
else.
You should try it. Try it and let us know if it works.
You're on a certain break.
It's that kind of break.
That will work.
Well, if you're like Roni, then that affects that.
Well, yeah, when you're a couple times a day.
Yeah.
One day makes a big difference. Break.
Okay, Roni, what about you?
Anything exciting? Did your husband go on a break?
No breaks. But I will say I've been thinking about getting rid of our beds in the rooms because since COVID, no one has been sleeping in their bedroom. Well, me and my oldest son, we tend to go to our rooms. Like, so since everything's been crazy, we'll find ourselves like on the couch watching a show and like everyone will fall asleep. And me and my oldest will wake up and go to our rooms. But my husband and the other two little ones have literally been sleeping on the couch probably since March. Like, that's so sad. Like, they fall asleep on the couch. Like, that has become their new bedrooms. And I feel bad because I'm like, everything is out of whack and everyone, is off from life and their regular schedules of everything they had to do. So I'm like, is it really that bad to just keep them on the couch?
So are you having less sex because of that? That's the question that everyone is thinking. Roni, is she having less sex?
I'll after this, I'll go wake him up and make him come out in the bed. And then
he falls asleep on the couch, but he doesn't stay on the couch.
No.
And do you carry the kids to their beds?
No, we don't carry. That's the thing, though. We used to carry them to their beds, but the older we're getting, walking them up them stairs is like,
they're
it's not
heavy
even worth
now.
it. Yeah, it's not even worth it. And then if you wake them up to make them walk themselves, it's just like a whole issue. Like, they can be in a deep sleep and Peyton will wake up like, I wasn't asleep. I saw everything. And I'm like, you've been asleep for hours. What do you mean?
Like, he still wants to be there.
Yeah. So we've just kind of been letting them. But I will wake my husband up. Sometimes, I'm not even gonna lie, I'll take advantage of it that he's on the couch, and sometimes I'll just sit in the room and like catch up on a show that I haven't got to watch or like scroll the internet. So sometimes I leave him out there, but not often. And if I do leave him out there for the night and I don't wake him up, then there's always the shower in the morning.
Oh my gosh. They got to make up for that lost time.
You have to we literally, I will say that's so funny about us. We'll make up for lost time for sure. If a day goes by and nothing cracks off, we're definitely making up for that time the next day for sure.
So after your period, like, how do you make up for a week's worth?
I'm just so confused. So it's every day now? Is it every day?
They were.
No, it's not every day. It's not like there has been breaks in it. Like, at least we'll miss a day. Like, there has been time where we're just too tired and like he'll fall asleep on the couch and I'll just fall asleep in the room and then nothing happens. But then the next day for sure, we don't go longer than a day. We only like have 1 day breaks and then it's get back. Unless it's I'm on my period, then obviously that's out of my control. But when I'm not, it's only a day before we like get back on schedule.
You make my vagina sore.
You make my vagina sore.
No, there's all kind of pH balance wash. Like Janelle bought me a soap for my birthday, and I took a picture of it in my shower, and then I was like, I looked at the picture, and I'm like, damn, I wonder if Janelle gonna be like, what the fuck is all this like pH balance soap and stuff in here in her shower?
No,
I
I
have
didn't.
all-
I didn't even notice it.
have
And
all
it's for that.
It
It's to
was
get you
so
more
weird.
lubricated.
Yeah, there's all kind of soaps that like help like keep the moisture and keep
Can
you
you
like.
set? Can we post it
Oh,
on
I will
here?
definitely link it, and I swear, my husband swears by it. Like he knows this soap, like he could tell a difference. Like
You
I'm
have bulk.
serious.
He buys it in bulk. On that
I'm definitely gonna
note,
link the soap, and it's called like Love or something like that.
Is it on
Oh.
Amazon?
Yeah, it is. You can get it on Amazon.
I'm like, everything is Amazon for me these
I know.
days.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely link it. But yeah,
So
that's
funny.
my couch chronicles.
well, speaking on that note, we're just gonna go right into the topic
Dive
of
right
how
in.
to ask for help, how it's okay to ask for help. So, Marianne, did you see your dad help your mom with like with you guys when you guys were younger?
What I can remember of, yes.
Yeah.
Like he passed away when I was 5. Yeah. But I do remember
Was
him a
he-
lot. Like he was
was he,
very
like,
active.
hands-on?
Yeah, like he would be the one to pick me up from school, and it was like, or sometimes he'd like pick me up in the middle of school and sneak me off to like have fun at a park, and my mom did, yeah, like he was very. And it's weird because those are like that's all I can remember is like the times
But it's
he
good
would play with
memories.
us.
Look
Yeah.
at that. That's a good memory to
So,
remember that dad was
I don't
here.
remember much of like anything before 5, but like what I do remember of him is things like that. Or like when he would spank my brother, but and not me.
You were over there like.
So wait, hold on. But did your mom ever tell you like if he helped her like as far as like nighttime feedings or like diaper changes? Had she ever talked to you about him like that or?
I mean, I was 5, so I don't.
No, like when you got older,
Oh,
like when
when I
you
was
became a
older?
mother. Yeah, because like when you became a mother, did she ever say like, oh,
I never
your dad
asked
used to help
her.
me with this or anything like that?
No, not that I can think of. Like because she remarried, and then like I had a stepdad. Like I don't think like I don't remember. Like I don't recall her like saying anything about things like that. Like when I had kids, like she just let us do what we did. Like she wasn't the type to put in her 2 cents. Like she would tell us like her little traditions, but like she would never be like, oh, you should do
Like
things
push
like,
it.
yeah, like she wouldn't be like, oh, you should have your husband do this because of this. Like she would just let us do our own thing.
So
If that
then
makes
did
sense.
you kind of have, no, that's awesome. I feel like more people should be like that. Did you kind of have an example of what you wanted in a marriage? Like, because I know your dad was, or you were young when your dad passed away. So did you have like an example of showing you like how a father
positive
should be
male
or how a
figure.
husband should be? Yeah.
Well, my grandma, my stepdad wasn't hands-on with us, but my grandma lived with us and was very hands-on with us. Like she would cook for us, or she would take, like when my sister was born, she would help change diapers and stuff. So she kind of filled in that role as far as like that I can think of. So she helped my mom a lot because my mom would have to work. So she kind of took over. And that's what I would assume like your partner would do.
Okay.
So when I got pregnant with my first, like I kind of was just assuming, okay, my husband's going to help me with this and this and this and blah, 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 you know. But I do remember having some resentment sometimes, like
yeah,
when I would breastfeed in the middle of the night. And I mentioned this in our breastfeeding episode, like I never woke him up because the situation we're in, like my father-in-law lives with us, so and he's paraplegic, so he calls for help in the middle of the night to go bathroom. So like he has to wake up my husband because my husband doesn't expect me to do it. Like like even now, like if he calls for help and I go help him, like he'll come in the room and be like, here, I'll do it. Like, don't, like, you shouldn't be doing this kind of thing. But yeah, so like I never woke him up in the middle of the night because I knew he had to wake up with his dad, and he was like the only one working at the time. So I'm like, he's tired from work. He has to get up anyways. And but I do remember sitting on the couch or on the chair in our room breastfeeding Landon, and like I had laser eyes staring at him snoring because he wasn't doing shit while I was breastfeeding in the middle of the night.
What I get myself into?
Or so, just, yeah.
So like for on his days off and stuff, do you feel like you would ask him for help when you, like, you know how like there's times where we just have like a meltdown where we're like ready to throw in the towel and we need help? Do you feel like you have always been comfortable to ask for help during that time, or do you feel like it was awkward or uncomfortable to ask for help?
I want to say like with Landon, like with our first child, it was uncomfortable because like it was so new to me. Like it was my first time being a mom, and like this just was new for us, period. So like I didn't know how to communicate with him that way. But I like, it's weird because like when we think back on it, like he didn't change a lot of Landon's diapers when he was little, but Landon like refused to be with him. Like he would scream if Adam would kiss him good morning or whatever. And it's funny because, you know, when we had Levi, he automatically started helping more, and like because we had to take care of Landon and Levi now, so like he started doing more. Like he would do Levi's diapers without me asking. And it's funny because now Levi like loves Adam, and I was like, see, you should have done that with him.
He would have loved you if he wiped his ass.
But yeah, I feel like when I didn't communicate with him, like when Landon was little, and I would just let it bottle up, and it would get to the point where like I started like being rude to him, or I assumed he would know what I was thinking, which isn't the point, like, which isn't the case because no one can read your mind. But in my mind, I'm like, he should know why
I need help. Yeah.
And like, it would get to the point where he'd be like, dude, what's wrong? Like, why are you being such a bitch or whatever, you know? And I'd be like, or he would say things like, oh, he shouldn't be doing that, like, or whatever. And my comment would be so snappy to him, be like, well, I'm not the only parent. And that was like my way of telling him. And then that's when and he's big on communication, so he would start talking to me about it, like, well, why didn't you tell me? Or like, I could do this and this and this. And then so now that we have our second kid, it's easier for me, but he also has stepped up a lot since then. So it's like, I don't know.
And now seeing this, don't you wish you would have asked earlier, like for your first one, you know, knowing that he was like open to helping you? Don't you wish you would have like just asked or like
in the beginning? And it even goes past my husband. Like with my first one, like I was like a helicopter mom, didn't want to go anywhere, or like I just wanted to be the one to watch him, like, and people would offer, and like I'd be like, no, and then he would make excuses like they don't know how to take care of him, or they don't know what to do when he does this. But it's funny because I loosened up after like the second kid, and I just throw them to anyone now.
Take them.
And it's like, why did I do this when I was like with him, with the first one? And it's funny because my neighbor has her newborn, her second child, and I'm like, dude, just do it, just get that. And I like tell her all the things I wish I did. So even asking like my family or my mom or like anyone just to help, like it's a lot easier now compared to with my first child, just because it was new territory. Like I didn't know, and like there's so much judgment out there. Like you would hear people throwing, you know, hateful words about moms who went to work, or you would hear like crap about moms who stayed home, and it's like, oh, you didn't watch your own kid, like, you know, things like that. So I was always insecure about like letting him go to daycare, or like hearing stories about the nanny did this and this, and like I have the opportunity to stay home, and we have the luxury of like letting me stay home, and we're okay with just on my husband's income. Like, so we did it, and I don't know. It's just like, I think social media got to me, but now I'm like, okay, anyone could come take my kids. Please take my kids.
Just take them back, but go ahead and take them. Yeah.
But yeah, so I wish I was as lenient with my husband, with my family, with everyone else, helping with my first.
But as first-time parents, we have to experience that. Like, we don't know. Like, you know, it's a first time for everything. So we don't know when to act.
So for moms that are first-time parents that don't know how to verbalize, like they're thinking, my husband should just know, right? What advice would you give? Like, how would you suggest that they word, like, asking for help, basically? Like, how do you ask for help from your husband? Like, what's the best way for you to communicate it?
For me, I know it's to be just plain out, like, just say it as it is. Like, because even if you try to tiptoe around what you're trying to say, then they're going to take, like, well, with my husband at least, like, I need to be straight to the point with him. Like, if I need help with X, X, and X, like, I need to say those specific things. I can't just say, I need help. Like, can you please help me today? Like, I need to tell him, like, please, can you please do the laundry today? Or like, hey, I have this and this and this going on. Like, do you mind doing the laundry and helping out with Levi today? Or I don't know, like, I gotta
take he does the laundry.
Oh yeah, but his laundry is like, he'll throw it in there and it's in the dryer.
Don't complain.
Yeah,
don't complain.
He's the one who complains about his shit being wrinkled.
That usually happens. Yeah.
So I mean, he helps, like, but it took me a while to ask, and with him, I have to be exact. So So
do you ask when you're calm, or do you tend to still wait till it builds up that you ask?
You're yelling.
Attitude.
No,
you
know.
God damn it, I said I needed help.
No, now I'm the type that needs to be, like, mentally prepared. So, like, I try to say things like, for example, like, we're recording tonight. Like, since this morning, I've been like, don't forget, I'm recording tonight, so you're gonna have to
kids.
Take care of Landon, put him to bed. You guys can do your movie, whatever. Like, this is gonna happen. And it
just
was like
a friendly reminder.
Yeah, like, I'm like, just don't forget, I have to record tonight, or like, just things like that. Like, I say it when I'm calm.
Have you not said it?
He would forget, yes. Yeah. And, like, he's the type where, like, I can't assume that he knows because of his profession. His mind is, like, everywhere else. Yeah. And so I can't. I've learned not to assume with him, at least, and to be straightforward, because that's just him. I don't know, like, if your husband's like that, but he's that type
in general.
So how do you lighten your load? Like, do you have your kids help you, or do you kind of, like, at home?
Now that Landon's home and he's 5, one whole hand, I tell him, like, you're this many years.
Get it together.
He's helped, like, but because we're doing Monopoly money, like, I'm like, hey, I gotta take a shower real quick. Would you like to earn $5 to watch your brother and make sure he doesn't cry?
And he's been good with him?
Yeah, he'll, like,
that's good.
I'm like, hey, what do you need?
Yeah,
I'm like, what do you need from me? Like, I already gave him a snack. Do you want me to put on a movie for you guys? Do you want me to put on YouTube? Because he knows how to navigate the YouTube on the TV. And so, like, if there's a commercial, Levi freaks out. Landon knows how to, like, skip the commercials.
Does Levi freak out for the commercial?
Yeah, he's like,
no commercials.
Yeah, and I still like try to take, like, a fast shower just to make sure. But, like, as soon as I'm out of the shower, I'm like I'll peek through. And it's funny, like, this happened today. I peeked the corner to see, like, if they're still alive.
Yeah.
And, like, Landon's watching TV. Levi's climbing on the our center table, And it's funny because Landon's like, Levi, get down. And Levi got down. And I was like,
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
that's
So,
good.
yeah,
That's really
he's
good.
starting to help. Like now he's doing chores. Like he brings the trash cans in from the street. He helps like clean. He sets
That's
the
good.
table.
Is this
Yeah.
all new since we've been on COVID and quarantine? Or did he have
Yes.
these responsibilities before?
He had like making his bed, cleaning his room was like his responsibilities before. But now I'm like,
They've improved, they seem
yeah,
like.
I feel like your energy has definitely changed since the first quarantine weeks.
Yeah, for
I feel
sure.
like, has he improved? Have you guys, do you
oh
feel
yeah,
like, because I feel like at first you were super
Yes.
frazzled.
Frazzled
oh yeah.
Now
in a
you're
ball
like, you
of
seem
stress.
calmer.
I
Yeah.
think because when COVID started, like, and we were strictly quarantined, like, our families used to being out of the house all the time. So, like, we would take Landon to Disneyland, or I would at least. I would take him to the park just to he's a
Get him
very,
out.
like, active kid. Like, he can't sit still. And so to be forced to stay home and not be able to do anything started frustrating him, which started making him act out. But we didn't know that. Like we were frazzled ourselves with the whole quarantine. So like it was just a constant battle. And then the whole thing with school and like just everything was unknown. Like, yeah, and I think we've gotten into a group, but I think too it's because we're not doing school right now. I'm like less stressed, so
Yeah,
let's
that's
wait till
true.
school starts.
And maybe a different song,
Yeah,
huh?
but he
We'll
has
be
like he
back.
hasn't been getting in trouble as much, but we've also I don't know if your husband told my husband about raising lions. Like
Oh, yeah.
he started listening to that audio and he started implementing some of that stuff with him and it
It was
works.
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan told my
Oh.
husband about it because they're friends. And then, yeah, I guess my husband told me, and then your husband.
So yeah, we've just haven't been freaking out. But I think too, the whole COVID unknown like frustration was with him and with us, and now that we're in a groove of like this is the new norm for us for now, like we've found a routine, found what works for us,
And then you're
yeah.
gonna have to change it in a few weeks when
I
we
know.
I know. So
school.
ask me when school starts.
I know.
I'll tell you if my drink's stronger or not.
Sure. I saw something was like, okay, so tell us, are we gonna have to buy school clothes or more vodka? We need to know.
Yeah. So what about you, Roni?
We need to know now. Um, so like growing up, like I feel like my dad was very hands-on because I remember like going to him for a lot of stuff, like stuff that my mom would say no to. I know I could get a yes out of him. Um, so he was very, very active in that department. As far as like when I was younger, I don't know if he like changed diapers and all that, which I doubt because he has a very bad stomach. And if someone throws up or someone farts or something, he's throwing up. So I highly doubt that he
Oh
did
my
any of that.
God.
Like someone could gag and he's about to throw up. So sure, he did not.
That is too funny.
I'm sure. But as far as me like asking for help when I need it, I think I've gotten better. Like I know before, um, with Devin, I was still working, so like I had no choice but to like put him in daycare, and my family kind of stepped up. But I noticed the difference with I felt some kind of guilt because I worked so much when I had Devin that when I had Peyton, I was like, okay, I'm about to do this all by myself because I felt like I had something to prove because I had so much help with Devin that I wanted to like show everybody like I know you guys helped me with him because I was working, but I'm gonna show you that I can get it done. So I noticed that I didn't ask for as much help with Peyton when he was born. Like I would try to take on everything and do it myself. but I felt like I was very like a big ball of stress because I needed help, because now having 2 kids was a total different ball game. So I needed a lot of help. But I don't know. I feel like I'm not shy about asking for help though, because I like my time. And
so how do you word it? Like, I always want to know, because it took me a long time to be able to ask for help. So like, how do you word asking for help? Like, how do you communicate that?
Like, I know I've said this before in episodes, like I'm a real strong believer in it takes a village. Like, it literally takes a village. And if this quarantine hasn't showed us anything else, like, you really see that you miss those grandparents coming to get those kids or that time, because that actually helps you recharge and like get your groove back, because doing that constantly is tiring. So if it depends who I'm asking. Like, if I'm asking a grandparent, or if it's my husband that I need the help for, or it kind of depends. But I kind of would just say, like, if it's the grandparents, I'm like, don't you miss your grandkids? Do you want them to come over? Straightforward kind of a thing. And if it's my husband, it depends on what the situation is. But I will say lately he has been like a lot, I don't know if it's because of the time, but he's been a lot better at knowing like that I need help without me actually saying anything. I think he can tell in my demeanor and my attitude that he's like, okay, like, let me help her, and he'll step in and help me. And I don't really have to say as much now as I did in the beginning. Like with my first son, I had to be very verbal. Like, I'm falling apart. I need your help. Can't you see? Why aren't you helping? And then with the second child, it got better. With the third child, it's kind of just like he can see when smoke is coming out my ears, and he knows when to step in, or when to give the child a bath, or when
so
to
he gives kids baths, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
And even when they were babies, or more like when they got sturdy?
More like when they I actually don't remember him doing a bath on his own when they were babies. Like, I remember, like, of course, your first child, like, we would give the baby bath together. But as they got more mobile, like, he would do the bath. He'll take charge. Like, for instance, tonight he knew we had a podcast, and like I was trying to go over like the script, just kind of see what we're gonna talk about. And he came home and he's like, "Oh, Harley, you haven't took a bath?" And so he like got her stuff and quickly gave her a bath without even like say anything. He knew it because I would have the computer screen open. So he's like, he does much better. Because if it was up to me, she was just gonna take a little spring wash in the sink tonight. I was not gonna deal with it.
A bird bath,
right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Something.
Oh my gosh. So then during that, like, have you ever felt resentment that you weren't getting enough help
from him, or just in general? Like,
no, from him, because like he's your, like, you know, you guys are together every day versus like family, you know.
I would, but I would be, I think I mentioned this too, like in our previous episodes, that when the babies were little, when they were like newborn, if they woke up, I would be like, hey, get up, the baby's up. Like,
breastfeeding.
Yes, I didn't care if he had to go to work. I'm like, we're in this together. We had this baby together. So if I'm gonna be sleepy, you're gonna be sleepy. So I would like wake him up, even if he couldn't do anything because I was feeding the baby. Just him being awake, and that was enough support for me. Like, I needed that because I didn't want to be up by myself. One reason was because I was fearful, because I was so tired. I didn't want to fall asleep and something happened to the baby. It was kind of like, let's tag team, help me out. So I would just be straightforward and tell him, like, you want all these children, help with all these fucking children.
That's good though. I feel like so many people want to say that, but they feel guilty because they are stay-at-home wives, or you know, their husband has the job that's providing for their family, period, you know, so they feel like it's their duty to like take on the full responsibility.
No, but I feel like you're in it together, and there's a lot of moms who have the babies, and then they have to still, get up and feed them and stuff, and then go to work. So what's
Yeah.
the difference from the dad? Like,
Yeah.
let's help each other out. We're in this
Yeah.
together, kind of a thing. So I'm sleepy, you're sleepy. I'm horrible. I'm horrible.
Okay, so wait, you just said you just straight out asked them, and then what about from your, like, how do you lighten your load at home, like for housework and stuff? Do you feel like you carry most of the load at home, or do you still distribute it through your kids and your husband? Like, does he help you with like housework and stuff too?
So
No.
that part, like, he'll help with
Like the kids, yes.
he'll help with the kids. Like, let's get this straight. He'll help with the kids, but as far as cooking, he's never, like, he does not cook at all. No, he does not cook. My birthday was recently, and they tried to do like breakfast in bed, and he tried to cook. I should post the picture.
He
I was
doesn't
like,
know how,
I'm not, no.
or he just
Oh,
doesn't
no.
want to.
No, he doesn't know how. He cooked, like, so I had made soup like a few days before, and he put the soup with the egg whites. He tried to make egg whites that weren't even ready, and he mixed it with the soup and like threw some shrimp on top and some strawberries.
In the morning?
What kind of soup?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
tomato soup?
It was like a vegetable soup that I had made, like with cabbage and like carrots and stuff. And I did have shrimp in there, but he put the rest of that leftover soup with the egg whites and threw some strawberries all on the same plate and came in here saying, "Good morning, happy birthday." And I was like,
How
this
funny.
is why
It's
You're like,
the thought that matters.
you shouldn't have. You
I
really
know. I was
shouldn't
like,
have.
I know it's the thought, but I tell you all the time, just don't. He doesn't help with that stuff.
Yeah, because then you feel like you have to take a bite,
I
That's
didn't feel like that. I felt like I'm gonna put this in the garbage disposal, and I did.
Oh my
I
God.
ate the shrimp off the top, and that was it. But no, he doesn't. Now that part he doesn't help with. He doesn't do laundry. I can't even tell you the last time he did laundry. I don't even know if he's ever done laundry. He doesn't do laundry.
What?
Doesn't do dishes. Mm-mm.
Oh, Adam refuses to do dishes.
Never. He may occasionally, like, he'll do like yard work, like, if sprinklers messed up or something like that. But as far as like house duties, wiping a counter, putting up a dish, absolutely not.
But the kids do that.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Yes. The kids lighten my load. Every morning they have their routine, and they've gotten a lot of more chores since we've been in quarantine. So they do their rounds every morning, from
That's good.
filling up ice trays to the recycling
Oh my
to
God, I feel
walking
like
the
that's
house.
a good one.
I make them walk the house every morning. They have to like walk around and see like if something's out of place, or down to the water hose not being reeled back up, like anything. They have to walk around and pick up trash and stuff like that. So they really help with the load for sure. Down to even Devin is doing laundry now and folding. So
That's
I
awesome.
just taught Landon how to put it in the laundry. How to
it's
put
so
the washing
amazing.
So you manage all that then. You basically make sure that everybody's doing their job.
Yeah.
And I, of course, do other things too, but
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So
How many hours do you say that they do that? Like every morning? How long does it take them?
probably about if it's just their normal like stuff, probably about an hour. But like on certain days, like today, they washed all the cars. So like that took longer because they had to wash the cars.
Dang, child labor.
I pulled out the cars and they washed the cars. So stuff like that on days like that is longer, but that's not something that they have to do like every day.
Yeah.
So when school starts back up,
Then
what
they just
happens?
go back to their normal. When school starts back up, they just do like their normal chores, like making their bed.
Who does those chores that they've recently taken on? You do
Usually we would like probably go to the car wash or something. Or when my husband's office was open, they had someone that came every other Wednesday and would wash the cars at their office. So we really didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But now, since all this stuff has been happening, we gave them that extra job.
So when I was little, our family was a little bit like an old school traditional family. Like my dad was the breadwinner and my mom was the one that was like the nurturing one. And she basically did everything that had to do with us kids, school. Um, she said that my dad never changed a diaper. He never took us a bath. He never did. I mean, he just provided for us basically, like, and then gave us lectures and, chores and stuff like that. But as far as like
The old school typical dad.
taking care of us or knowing how to take care of us, like, I don't remember him really washing a dish or doing laundry or just anything. Like my mom literally would do everything, around the house and for the children. And then my dad just basically would provide.
That's tradition. Like that's like a traditional, like old school family is like that, right?
Yeah. So can you see why I never wanted to get married? Because I'm like, wait a minute, hold on.
You're like, what is he here for?
I'm gonna have kids, and then I have to do everything by myself. And then why do I need a husband?
No wonder you're traumatized.
So because like growing up, I just didn't want that. Like I didn't want that traditional family. Like I wanted it to be equal, So, but also asking for help was not natural. Like that did not come naturally to me. Like I I would hold in a lot thinking like, don't you, like you said, don't you know, like, don't you see me that I have my hands full? Don't you see that I need to bathe the kids? Don't you know that like before we leave somewhere, I have to pack the diaper bag and bathe the kids and do all the things, but like, it's like they wouldn't, I don't know if
it didn't click.
Yeah, it didn't click right away or something, And so I felt like I had that I was like resentful for. And then I also was like, I don't need anybody. I could do it by myself, because my mom did it by herself, I could do it by myself. So I also wanted to prove, I think, to myself that I was a good mom, that I could do everything by myself, so then that puts on so much extra stress and pressure, Yeah. And so then also too, my first two pregnancies, my husband was in school, like he was in two different academies for each of those pregnancies. So he was gone all day in school, then all night studying, so I basically I just had my mom, thank goodness. But like you said, your grandmother, Marianne, like she kind of was like a step-in husband. Like that's how I felt like my mom was. And I think because she's had kids and she has that nurturing side, she knew everything that I needed, like you didn't have to ask because she would be like, oh, I'll bathe this one while you go bathe that one. Or, like she just has that.
Yeah.
So I was just waiting for my husband to step up and see that, and he didn't have that natural nurturing thing, So I feel like we definitely went through times in our marriage that we would fight, and because it would take me so long to say something, like it wasn't until I would like just blow up on him and be like, you never helped me, like just a full-on meltdown, And there was a time where so before I had my second kid, I remember this lady was telling me all the things her husband does. Like he did the laundry, and he was the chauffeur taking the kids around, and he worked and she worked, but like he did a lot. And I remember telling her, wow, you're so lucky that he does all that, And she's like, no, I'm not. He's a dad. He's being a dad. Like, I'm not lucky. He's not doing it for me. He's doing it for his kids, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting way to put it, like I never thought of it like that. Yeah. I thought here he's doing you a favor by stepping up and doing all these things. But she was like, fuck that. He's doing it for his freaking kids, just like I'm doing it for my kids. Like, it's not doing him a favor. Like, he needs to step the hell up, And she was telling me like, and he didn't naturally come like this. Like I had to communicate to him and tell him, hey, your kids need you. They need their help, they need your help, and you need to step up. So when she told me that, I remember thinking like, oh God, now I have to have this like uncomfortable conversation, and start telling him that I need his help more. And, and I remember there was one time that we went to, I'll never forget. So my sister-in-law, it was her wedding, and I was photographing her wedding, and I had just had Max, so my second kid, and he was only like 3 or 4 months old. And I just remember like my mom having the baby most of the night and me working, you know, taking pictures and stuff. And then after, when I was finally off, like my husband was nowhere to be found. Like he was just mingling, having a good old time, and he like didn't know where the fuck our kids were. And I was just so like upset and hurt, and like I'm over here working, and then I'm finally off and I want to spend time and you're gone, you know, and my kids are, who knows, that you're not even taking care of our kids just because my mom's here. Like you should not just assume that she's going to take care of the kids, you know. So we had like this huge blow up, and I remember just like telling him, is this how it's gonna be, you know, like those conversations where you're like, I'm not gonna put up with this if this is how it's gonna be, and this is not like a one-way street, you know. So I feel like it took that huge blow up for me to finally communicate to him, like, we both, like you said, Roni, we both wanted these kids, you know, whether I'm working or I'm staying home, like we both should be carrying an equal load, you know, of taking care of our children.
Mm-hmm.
So I would start having to like not ask him to do things, but so
But
we
that
would.
was with Max. By the
That was with
that time
Max, yeah. So the third one, when the third one finally came around, I think because he wasn't going through any kind of academy, like he helped a lot more. But I did take, like, instead of me assuming that he was going to offer to help or giving him some kind of guilt trip, like, oh, you know, why aren't you helping or whatever, I would just tell him, look, the baby needs to be bathed, and the dishes need to be washed. Which one do you want to do? And so, and I would say it without attitude. I would just tell him, like, these are the things that need to be done. You choose what you want to do, you know? And then of course he would choose the ones that he would want to do. And to me, I don't care. Like, you want to wash the dishes, that's fine. I'll bathe the baby every single day. But I just need to know that we're both doing something. And you're not just sitting on the couch on, you know, playing a game on your phone while I'm trying to do everything, you know? So
Yeah.
The tag teaming has helped so much, you know, like I feel like we definitely have been tag teaming a lot more lately. And I think once I started giving those options, like, hey, A, B, and C needs to be done. Which one do you prefer? Because you know, whatever, I'll give him the option. I always give him the option first, and then he'll choose, and then I'm like, okay, cool, and then I'll do the rest, you know, or like not the rest, but you know, like we definitely divide it up.
And I feel like you had that
That's a good
communication
option.
early on too, because I remember, I never forget this. I don't know if we were like at my mother-in-law's house or at an event, and it was when Jack was a baby. And I remember you guys were like, you had him and he had just started walking, and you were like letting him walk around and play. And then you went and told your husband, you were like, okay, I'm tired. And then he went and like let him walk around. And I like hit my husband like, look at that. They take turns on watching the baby. Because at that time we had just had one. And you guys like did it so gracefully. Like you went talking to your friends while he was watching. Like you just switched. Like you guys both equally had time. So that's why I feel like you probably said something to him before. Because how did that happen? Where he knew to do that with Jack?
I mean, I feel like he's always been, I guess he has always been like a tag team, but I just haven't asked him for certain things because I thought a mom's supposed to do it. You know, like I would always
Like
bathe
chores.
the kids, or I would always feed them, or I would always, you know what I mean? But as far as me like handing them over, like, hey, I need a break, go ahead. The baby's fed, the baby's changed kind of thing. Like you kind of would prepare them up so that you could hand them over. So all they had to do was watch them, you know?
Yeah.
But then eventually it got to a point where it's like, and then we would be like, then it got to a point where we're like, okay, I changed the shit the last one, now you change it, you know? So then we would fight over like, and
So funny.
and then it would be like, oh, I smelled it, and then he would swear I was tricking him. Like every time I would hand him the baby, he's like, the baby has shit, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like it's your turn. You know, so we would definitely tag team for that kind of stuff, but I feel like I just got more comfortable asking for things or specifying the things that I needed rather than just trying to take it all up. trying to prove that I was a good mom, because I really thought that it went hand in hand. Like the more duties that you did meant that you were a better mom, you know? And if you needed help, that means you were a shitty mom. Like I really had a false thought process or false belief of that, you know? And no, it doesn't matter. Like ask for help. You need help. You know, we can't do freaking everything.
You only have 2 hands.
Yes. So, and then I remember also feeling guilty, like, if my mother-in-law was going to come over and if my house was dirty, and I always felt like I needed to like hurry up and clean up, and I would stress out and yell at the kids and stuff. And I feel like I just got to a point where I'm like, it's lived in, you know, I cleaned up in the morning. You're going to come over. I'm just going to tell you, hey, the house is a mess. Like, I feel like finally got to that point where I don't need to do everything, you know, like
Would she say stuff to you? Would your mother-in-law say stuff
she would
about that?
she would never. I just think that it's just something that was like inside of me, thinking like, oh, she probably thinks
she was thinking.
But don't you have the kids helping you now? Like, how do you have the kids help you?
So now they are definitely helping me, but it all started when my dad passed away. I mean, they already had little chores and stuff, but once my dad got sick of cancer, like everything went out the window, and we were always going over there. So the house was a mess. Like nobody was doing anything. I felt like I lost complete control over the kids and their duties and just the house and everything, you know? And so when he passed away, and we were just kind of like during the grief process, I was looking up, like, how do I reel it back in? Like, how do I try to, you know, gain control over this house and the mess and the chaos? And I remember finding things online, and so basically giving them more chores to do. And it took a lot to not change it, you know, after they did it. And we've talked about that in our chore episode, but giving them all these extra chores really, really helped like lighten my load, you know, even though, and keeping myself from having to fix it after has helped a lot too, even though you want to so badly.
Perfectionist.
Yes, trying to refrain and reminding them, like, this is how you contribute to our home, you know, like this is a family and we all have to contribute equally. But yeah, so yeah. And then I asked my in-laws, like, I'm not afraid anymore. Like at first I used to feel like, I don't know, some people have this thing like, oh, you shouldn't leave your baby at this age, or you shouldn't, you know, how could you spend the night away from your baby? And I feel like a lot of people have different beliefs on that, which is fine, because you do you. But we have definitely gone on vacations where we left our babies with our moms at different times. And I feel like that has helped a lot with your own like sanity and your marriage, keeping the spice alive. The relationship has definitely, and also prioritizing too, like not trying to do everything. Like you don't need to be a superhero mom, you know, like I feel like everybody wants to be the super mom. Like, no, let's throw that out the window and just do the things that matter, you know. Don't try to do everything all at once, because you're just going to burn out.
You're gonna drive yourself crazy.
So if you are in that season of life where you feel like you are overwhelmed and you're trying to do all the things and you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help. You need to reach out before you burn out. Okay?
People don't have anyone to ask for help.
Oh, there is single mothers. There has to be somebody, a best friend, you know, like your mom, your dad,
a friend,
a cousin.
Like, didn't you offer me like
yes, yeah,
switch up babysitting roles?
Yeah, I read it in a book, or I heard it somewhere that you could offer to watch your friends' kids on one night, so they could have a date night, and then you swap, and then, you know, the next weekend your friend has all the kids and you and your husband could go on a date night. And if you're single, you still do it and you have your own damn date night or a girls' night or a pamper night or whatever, but you need to have some type of time.
There's somebody out there that wants to help you.
Recharge your batteries too.
I'm happy you mentioned that, because I have a friend who has, her mom passed away, her dad passed away, her grandma like went into depression after the mom passed away. So she literally has no one. And I'm always offering like, she can come over here, this is a fun house. Like always trying to, make her want to bring her child over.
Does
And
she ever
has a
take
few
you up
times.
on it? Okay.
She has a few times, but she hasn't let her stay the night, which I get because she's an older girl and I have a teenager, and you never know what kids will try to do. So I get it. I'm not about that spending the night if they're not related. But yeah, I'm happy you said that because people may not have help. But if you have friends, that's what friends are for.
Swap
I mean,
kids.
we don't have grandparents here other than his dad, but his dad can't watch the kids. So
Yeah.
we make it work. It's possible. It is possible. You just have to be open and willing to let go of your kids.
That's the thing too, because a lot of parents have, especially first-time parents,
It's just the anxiety, I think, of letting them go is what stops them.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us. If you want to catch up on our previous episodes, visit mamasmimosas.com, where you'll get access to all of our podcast show notes, our YouTube videos, and our private Facebook group where we chat with you about each episode and host live Q&A with our favorite mom tribe. Can't wait to see you there.